Just do testimony right there? Okay. Well, I thought you were gonna sing up here? Okay. That way we can all see you, all right? This is a little certificate to remember the day by, your profession of faith. And this is a little devotional to continue, help you walk with God in the days to come. And this is a long day coming. You've been through a lot for your young life already. God's taking you on quite a journey. Sort of put you through a crucible, and yet through that whole process of going through the fire, God's been with you through this all. And there's a purifying, strengthening process. And He's given you a great faith in Him already. And you've been a great testimony from the time you were singing up here just a little and blessing all of us. And you've shared your faith and testimony with many already and been a great blessing to so many already. And so we just count it a privilege to be able to hear your testimony this morning and see what God continues to do in your life. So congratulations.
Because I don't like talking in front of I grew up in a Christian home with my mom, dad, my two brothers, Ryan and Chad. My dad tells me that when I was 3 years old, he prayed with me to ask Christ into my heart. I've grown up in this church all my life and went to DCS from preschool through 8th grade. I'm super thankful I had the privilege of going here for school because it definitely gave me a solid foundation built on Christ with godly morals and values that have really helped in high school and I know will stay with me for my life. When I was little, I remember myself thinking, wow, I feel so bad for those kids who are sick and have to go to the hospital. I'm so glad I'm not like that. It's easy to think bad things will never happen to us, right? Well, when I was about 6 years old, I went for a routine doctor appointment at my pediatrician. Every year they test our blood. My platelets were low and we had to go to the hospital to get it checked out. I don't think I was too worried because I didn't really understand what was happening. I just hated the fact that I had to go to the hospital. At Detroit Children's, we found out that my spleen was enlarged and was eating all my platelets, which explained why they were low. Then I had an ultrasound of my spleen, which also showed that my liver was abnormal. My mom started crying, and of course, I got scared because I didn't understand. My doctor came up to me and said, Kara, it's okay. Moms just cry because they get worried about you, but you'll be okay. We were sent to Dr. Madani at Detroit Children's, where I had a lot more tests, and none of them told us what was wrong or why. For quite a while at first, I had a terrible attitude about it all. I don't think I was really scared yet, because I felt fine. I just hated the fact that something was wrong with me, that I was different from everyone else. I couldn't stand to hear my mom or anyone talk about me. When she would, I would give her nasty glares, and sorry, Pastor Dan, but whenever you pray for me, I'd nudge my mom and act like a brat. I don't do that anymore. I couldn't accept being different, and I was bitter about it all. Over time, though, I came to accept it, and I know that didn't just happen on its own, but that God was working in my heart to let me see that it was part of His plan. It took a while, but God definitely changed my attitude about it. Anyways, then my doctor wanted a second opinion, so he sent us to Cincinnati Children's, to the liver specialist, and I've been there ever since. We've been told by other doctors and patients that Dr. B is the best in the U.S., if not the world. We are really so blessed to be there, and I know God wanted us there. Eventually, I was placed on the transplant list, which I've been on for 8 years now. Then, when I was in 4th grade, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which if you know anything about, it's extremely difficult. Diarrhea, cramps, pain, flare-ups, throwing up, losing weight, pretty much just feeling yucky all the time, and exhausted too. It was really hard for me at first because I wasn't used to it, and I felt like everyone was looking at me like I was crazy because I had to leave class all the time. That was really hard for me, and it was the first time I actually felt and experienced the effects of being sick. I've been dealing with that since then. But at that time, I had a teacher who had dealt with diabetes, and she really helped me feel like I wasn't alone and was an amazing Christian role model for me. I grew closer to God during 5th and 6th grade because of experiences of ulcerative colitis and through people that challenged me. Then I continued on through 7th and 8th grade, still dealing with ulcerative colitis and waiting for the liver. I think my family thought transplant would have happened by the time I went to high school, but that wasn't going to happen. During 7th and 8th grade, Bible class at DCS with Mr. Guru really had an impact on me. It gave me a lot of knowledge of God, which I'll keep for my life. In about 8th grade, something really clicked with me. I don't even know how. I remember that day, I was just sitting at the computer, and I had been thinking a lot about my disease and how it had become a part of me. I started thinking I wouldn't be me without it. I wouldn't have met some amazing people that I had because of it. I wouldn't be as strong, and I wouldn't have learned the lessons I have, and I wouldn't be as close to God. Would I even care about God if I didn't have the situation in my life? And I honestly didn't know what the answer was to that. Because God has definitely brought me to Him and taught me so many things because of my disease. I had accepted this situation a long time ago, but God spoke to me that day, and I finally realized that if I could, I wouldn't change my life. Because God's plan is way higher than I could imagine. Then I went on to high school and continued doing the things I've been doing. School, performing arts, just trying to live as much of a normal life as possible. 9th grade was definitely a struggle. I went to school every day exhausted and worn out because of getting up every hour in the night with my colitis. I thought I was overreacting about not feeling well, so I just kept on going to school and pushing myself. Throughout the year, I needed a few infusions because of bad blood counts, but I got through freshman year. Once summer came, I pretty much just crashed. I had a major flare-up, and I felt miserable every day. Nothing was settling on my stomach. I was throwing up about every night and going to the bathroom 20 to 30 times a day. I was literally afraid to leave the house. I just laid on the couch all the time. Then one night, my fever hit 104. I could barely keep my head up, so we went to Detroit Children's in the middle of the night. Little did we know the adventure was just starting. After a few days, we were flown on a medical plane to Cincinnati and were in the hospital for about 2 weeks. It was a roller coaster ride. There were times I was just beside myself and felt so helpless. I was frustrated and angry. I was drained physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It was summer. I just wanted to be home, or on vacation like everyone else. Why was I in the hospital? I was sick of being sick and being poked and prodded and having tests and fasting. I was sick of it all. But because it was the first time, I was so drained in every part of my life. It was then that I finally saw that all I had was Christ. Nothing else was right. I was finding out that there were more things wrong with me than I originally thought, and I felt miserable. I was away from my home, my brothers, my friends, and so I finally realized I just had Christ. It was the hardest time in my life, but yet it was the best because for the first time, I didn't just know it in my head that I had Christ, but I experienced Him being the only thing I had to hold on to. I couldn't hold on to my health, or my home, or my family, or my friends, or fun experiences, or anything else, just Him. The terrifying thing is that I'm nowhere near out of this storm I'm in with my health. But since this summer, I've had such an assurance of Christ in my life, and that He is my everything. I know He'll keep working on me all my life, but I also know that He is truly in my life, and the reason for my life. So as I'm in this storm, I will praise Him.